Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Tim Avery. I'm the conference chair of the DFI46 annual conference, the 45th annual conference that's held with live participants. It has been a real honor and a privilege to be the chair of this fantastic conference. I've gotten a lot of praise for how well it's gone off, and I have to say it's all due for my co-chairs, Marty Hudson and Ramin Mutamed, and all of the committee members, and certainly all of the DFI people who've done just a phenomenal job putting this together. We'd also like to thank our banquet sponsors, ECA, Grout Systems, Keller, and Liebherr. I'm with Keller and I put the salads together tonight. But we also want to thank all of our cooperating sponsors, certainly the cooperating organizations, organizing committee, DFI staff, speakers, attendees. You guys have made this truly tremendous event. And we hope to keep this going successfully year after year. So I'm very proud to be the chairman this year, and you guys have done a great job as participants. Thank you all the attendees and the speakers. So, a couple other things. I've had a lot of people comment on this really cool lanyard I have. So this is for Women in Deep Foundations. So if one of you would like one, please go purchase it from the people who are applauding and support the Women in Deep Foundations. But right now I would like to introduce DFI's past president, Rudy Frizzy, who is our educational trust chair. Rudy.
Okay, good to see everybody tonight. Teresa, how do I advance the screen? Arrow. That's Tim. All right, enough of that guy. Okay, good to see everyone tonight. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting the trust. I'm Rudy Frizzy. I'm with Langen Engineering. As an organization, we're really psyched to support this organization, DFI, and the trust. The folks we hire come from the students that we support. And I know it's not just Langen, but it's all the folks in this room that can benefit from what the trust is doing for our organization. So just a little bit about what we're doing with the trust. The mission is up there. I'll let you read it. But it's really about education. And what I like to say, widening the funnel to fill the pipeline. We have huge needs in our industry to have the best and brightest to come to our engineers and our contractors and our equipment folks. And I really believe that the trust is helping widen that funnel and increase that pipeline of folks, qualified folks, into our organization. And that's our mission. And some really cool pictures. The funds that we have this year, most recently, the GRL Scholarship Fund was established, and not only was it established, we're already giving out scholarships out of it right away. So it's really great to see folks in industry recognizing past leaders of organizations, major folks in our industry, and really remembering them in perpetuity by creating these scholarship funds. It's not just a one-off. These are about helping students today, tomorrow, and on into the future. So thank you to the folks at GRL and all our other donors who are supporting the trust. So a few highlights about the trust. Our assets, 4.5 million in assets. We're very strong. You heard James at lunchtime today talking about how well the DFI is doing, and gosh, there's a pandemic going on out there, and we've had just such a great year, and that's really a testament to the folks in the room and our other DFI members who are supporting the trust. Since its inception, we've given out over $1 million, $1.4 million in scholarships, and we've helped over 400 students. And really what's really impactful, I believe, is that not only are we helping students, those students are staying in our industry, and that's important to all the folks in this room. It's important to our industry. We're supporting students. Those folks are staying in our industry, and that's the future of our industry right there. So it's really exciting for me to be part of that, because we're laying the groundwork for the future, which is great. In 2019, audited, our net income was over $200,000 after scholarship distribution. So again, very well run. That's a testament to our trustees. Emilio couldn't be here today, but he's administrator for the trust. Teresa, others at headquarters who are helping run a lean and mean organization to do what's right for industry, which is giving back to the future and the students in the industry, which is great. And I'd like to introduce our 2020 winners. We didn't have the opportunity, I guess, to do it in person. So this is the first time we've had a chance for folks to be recognized in person, which is great. So first, I'd like to introduce the folks who are here tonight. But before I do, I'm missing, here they are. Everybody wants to make sure we got the envelope. So for who's here tonight from our 2020 winners, Taylor D. Canal and Ingrid Tomac. Can you come on up? You should be here tonight. Congratulations, our 2020 winners. And I was told that you were recognized a couple of on Tuesday evening. They gave you those big checks, right? Well, you can't spend those anywhere, so that's why you need to come tonight. So we did stuff for that. So couldn't be here tonight. Megan Brassard, Julia Chessa, and Akila Mon could not be here tonight. So again, round of applause to them as well. I'm sorry they couldn't be here, but other 2020 Women in Deep Foundation grant recipients. And our 2021 grant recipients, I'd like you to come up. Lauren Dizagua, Gabby Vasquez, Abby Stein, and Min Liu. You should be here. Come on up and get the real check. So Abby was the one that was telling me about the big check. So you're gonna have to stick with it. Fantastic. Okay, so before I get into the student paper competition, we also support a young professor competition. Although we are not giving one out this year on the young professor side, we do invite folks to encourage young professors to participate. And I know there's been a lot of academics folks in the sessions over the past couple of days. So please encourage folks to, on the professor side, to submit and hopefully get the award at our next meeting. So we have the opportunity to give the student paper competition award winners. And our winner, Osama Derby from University of Western Ontario, Western University, he's unable to attend, but I did see his presentation. He did a fantastic job on Wednesday morning presenting. So just a round of applause for our winner, although he couldn't join us tonight. But we do have our runners-up, and I'd like Harish Kalauni and Nafis bin Masood to please come up. I have a plaque for you, for both of you, so please come on up. And as I mentioned, our student paper competition winner, Osama Derby, presented on Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here tonight. So with that, I'm going to move on and introduce Matthew James, who's going to take us into the Outstanding Project Award. So again, thank you, everybody in this room. What you're doing here is supporting the trust. Keep supporting the trust. It's great. It's great for the future of our organization. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. So I have had the pleasure of serving on the Outstanding Project Award Committee. So that advanced itself all on its own, but I'll leave it there. With or under the auspices of James Johnson, and James handed that over this year, and so I'm very pleased to carry on his tradition. Every year we get to gather and assemble and review the fantastic work that's done by you, our members, every year. And then we have the enviable task of selecting that which is most outstanding. And we have a great time doing it. And we learn every year, and it's a real honor. So we had a number of fantastic applicants again this year, and they included the Little Island Pier 55 in the Hudson River, which was a phenomenal project, very interesting, by Muser Rutledge. And so they received special recognition. And then the 2nd Street Broadway Rail Station. And I think we have Alex and Manuel here from PBNA. Would they please come up? So this was a really outstanding subway expansion, essentially building an expansion to a subway station on a postage stamp in downtown Manhattan. So really challenging. And we have as well the Outstanding Project Award winner. And this was an amazing project. And we had the presentation of that earlier in the session by Rachel. And I know that the people at our table were discussing what wasn't done on this project. They seem to use every technique available to us in the deep foundation industry. And apparently Rachel lived this project for 10 years, and I can see why. It was truly outstanding. So if I can ask Rachel to come up and receive the award on behalf of Stantec. And Rachel is the only one here today from the team of companies that participated. So we have members from Ames Construction, Case Banquet Keller, the Missouri River Energy Services, Remco Geotechnical Contractors, and Schnabel Geostructural Design and Construction. A truly fantastic project, and congratulations to you all. And so I turned it over to the next presenter for the Distinguished Service Award. Thank you. Michael?
Okay, our final presentation is the Distinguished Service Award. This is our award for lifetime achievement in our industry, and the addition. Out of the criteria that are in the award, the one that resonates with me, particularly for this particular recipient, is that there is a clause on character, and Dale Biggers was one of the greatest gentlemen I've known in this industry. We're all very lucky to have been with him. The award itself exemplifies a dedication to the industry, as well as the Deep Foundations Institute, but also to our industry as a whole. Are there some Distinguished Service Award recipients past in the audience? Is anybody here? Please stand. Richard, Tom. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for being here, Tom. Okay, that's great. With that, let's jump to the video. Whoever's actually doing that. I do that? Okay. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good shot. There's our guy.
I'm saddened by the news of Dale's passing away. It was actually quite shocking to me. I did participate for a while in the effort championed by Dale to update the IBC. Dale's enthusiasm and determination were awe-inspiring. He'll be greatly missed. I send my condolences to the family during those difficult times. On behalf of Jose Clementine. Dale was, and still is to me, a terrific person in the foundation industry. I contacted him often when he served as chairman for the PDCA Technical Committee. Once during a call, I mentioned that I was flying into New Orleans for our annual BOD meeting. He offered to pick me up at the airport. I told him that I would get a taxi, but after some back and forth, the guy would not say no, so he picked me up. Then, as my flight came in much earlier than our meeting started, he offered to drive me around the city to visit some of the ongoing sheep piling projects. I made a big mistake and asked him what kind of other construction projects Bro Brothers did. He started pointing left and right all through the city, so many sites I felt he might need a sling for his arm afterwards. Later, he took me way out of the main part of town to treat me for dinner. He said only locals knew about this Cajun seafood restaurant, and it was the best I had ever had. Again, he refused to let me pick up the bill and said Louisianan residents can't let their guests pay. Then he took me to see the construction yard. It had all the same items as my construction yard, like different sized sheet piling, steel pipes, boats, and driving equipment. However, it was probably over 20 times bigger, and it was so organized that it made me think of the Dewey Decimal System in a school library. When I arrived home from Texas, I realized my construction yard was such a disorganized mess, I shouldn't use the French word to categorize it. I met with my construction foreman, and he said he would work on the organizing the yard on one condition. Anything steel, sheeting, piles, whatever that was there before he went to work for me 20 years ago would be gotten rid of. Well, after a crew worked on this for over 2 weeks, the place started to look like Dale's yard. They took over 10 big truckloads of steel to be recycled. I did not tell Dale, but the money from the recycling covered the crew cost. Anyway, this is key to the story. When I saw Dale again, I told him about all the trouble I went through organising my equipment yard, and it was all his fault. So I started calling him my best worst friend. Every year during conventions when I saw him, I would always introduce him as my best worst friend. He was and still is an inspiration to the foundation industry. On behalf of Rusty Singer. I met Dale in 2018 for the first time during IFC's conference in Florida. I had seen him before but felt he was like a VOP and it would be difficult to talk to him. I was wrong. This was late in the day, everyone gathered in the bar. He was standing right at the entrance and wondering what to do. There was a mad rush at the bar to get drinks, so I took the opportunity, went up to him and asked what he wants to drink. That started our conversation. He was so good at asking questions and listening. Be it a technical question or non-technical, he was a world of knowledge. Always funny, a smile, charismatic, most inspiring, the list could go on. Recently at IFC this year, he was making fun of me by saying I look for good-looking male engineers to buy coffee for. We had breakfast together and he talked about all kinds of stuff. Driven pile committee to vegetarianism to his health. I will really miss seeing him and his loss is unimaginable. On behalf of Lucky Narangajan. About 7 years ago, Dale decided that he and I and Laurie Simpson should host a dinner one night during DFI's annual. Dale tasked us with coming up with a guest list that included interesting personalities that would produce fascinating conversation. I told Dale it sounded like a geotechnical version of the writers' Algonquin Round Table in New York in the 1920s. I said I would be happy to assemble the brilliant, funny, acerbic guest list, but only if I got to be Dorothy Parker. We had many versions of the dinners, with a long list of compelling and erudite guests. We always managed to put together a group who could exchange ideas and make jokes and even argue, and we were always still friends at the end of the night. This bond and our success were 100% due to Dale's engaging personality. He loved other people and he took great pains to include anyone in the conversation. He also enjoyed raising eyebrows a bit. Our last dinner included a story about lingerie on the door handle of the hotel room across the hall from his at the conference. We will continue Dale's dinners, but we will not be without him. His spirit of community and engagement have formed the foundation of this tradition, and we won't let it die. After every event, Dale would send me a note thanking Dorothy for another great dinner. Dorothy has no plans to let Dale's spirit go anytime soon. On behalf of Peggy Haggerty Duffy. At IFC in 2015 in San Antonio, Dale saw me looking at a book at one of the association booths in the exhibit hall. It was the proceedings of the Third International Stress Wave Conference from 1988. Later that day, I found the book in my hotel room. There was a note that said, "Enjoy," with no indication of who the book came from, but I knew it was Dale. He was generous and he was a gentleman. He will be missed. On behalf of Michael Justason. At the PDCA meeting in Florida, I found out Dale liked wine just a bit, so I brought him a bottle of red with a napkin over my sleeve. Since then, every time we saw each other, we served the other the same way, with a smile. Dale, I owe you one, on behalf of Herb Engler.
It's beautiful, and thanks for those thoughts that were sent in. Well read. With that, we are fortunate and honored to have Virginie here. Are you ready to grace us with a few words? Would you like, yeah, please?
See, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. President Wysocki, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests. As I read your name, please stand. We are privileged to have among us this evening Robert S. Bowe, President of Bowe Brothers Construction Company, New Orleans. Harold William Bauer III, Manager of the Piling and Marine Department. Our daughter, Eva Erickson Biggers, Certified Sommelier. John Thornton Lundgren, MD, psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and clinical professor of psychiatry for the past 40 years at the University of California, Los Angeles. William Harold Lundgren, who spent his career as a software developer for IBM in San Jose. Our mothers were sisters, and frequently John, Bill, and their parents made summer road trips from their home in Berkeley to our grandma and grandpa Thornton's farm in southern Wisconsin. These cherished childhood memories are an important part of who we are. This evening, we are gathered to remember a life lived to the fullest extent possible. When Dale received the call from Teresa Engler, he had received the 2021 DFI Distinguished Service Award. He was ambulatory and his usual keen self. With discernment and awe, he paused between each name as he shared with me the list of recipients. Not only did Dale admire the academic prowess, knowledge, and experience of everyone in this association, but also he admired you because you have been his amazingly wonderful friends. He looked forward to the regularly scheduled Zoom conferences, preparing for them with insight and foresight. In his role as professor, as the young engineers at Bow Brothers fondly referred to Dale, he was in his element, teaching and sharing his years of expertise and wisdom with them and the numerous professional organizations he served. New Orleans, the northernmost Caribbean city, is either boom or bust. When Dale and I married in 1973, oil was gushing in Louisiana and Texas. Many evenings after we finished our day at the office, we donned our finery and attended a cocktail party that highlighted an arts organization in a splendidly appointed home on Audubon Boulevard, one of the most elegant boulevards in the United States. Because of the personal injury cases that abounded, court reporters were in great demand. By night, Dale and I taught court reporting, and we would slip away from the party. When we arrived at the school, our students would be patiently waiting for us. In between each dictation, because no cell phones were available in those days, Dale placed calls to his foreman, lining up the next day's schedule. With his decided New Orleans accent, Dale's dictation was sometimes quite challenging. One evening, a most gifted student thought he had dictated werewolf, and he had dictated railroad. In 1983, oil plummeted, and the opulent New Orleans social scene vanished from our lives. One of the nation's best kept secrets is the State Department's International Visitors Program. Our ambassadors and foreign service officers who are serving abroad choose them on the basis of their being emerging leaders in their chosen fields. After a week in Washington, D.C., the international visitors travel to cities throughout the country, having appointments with professionals and home hospitality. The New Orleans Citizen Diplomacy Council is well known throughout the world for its home hospitality. When Eva was growing up, one of the women in the organization had given up her auto to pay for her son's college tuition. The deadbeat dad was of no assistance. After work, Dale graciously picked up the international visitors from the hotels and drove them to her home for dinner. On one occasion, the international visitors were parliamentary attorneys from Saxony-Anhalt, former East Germany, and Slovakia. When Dale returned them to their hotel, the gentleman from Slovakia requested Dale's business card. His niece, who is Eva's age, was taking English. Dale gave him his Bow Brothers business card, and soon Eva received a letter. After the 2005 Intersteno, the International Federation for Court Reporting and Office Technology convention in Vienna, we skimmed the waves of the Danube in a hydrofoil. When we arrived in Bratislava, Susan, her parents, Uncle Igor, now a Supreme Court justice, and Aunt Marta were waiting for us. What a gloriously beautiful day we had with this family. Like her parents, Zuzka, or Susan, is a civil engineer. Over the years, Dale and I have sponsored and hosted 12 German youth who have stayed with us 14 times, and one French youth. When they began arriving, Dale had to prove to immigration we could afford to have them with us. They attended English as a second language classes, high school, or had internships. We love them all, and they have enriched our lives immeasurably. Dale arranged for 2 internships in civil engineering for Martin, who does very well in Munich. When he learned of Dale's passing, Martin wrote Eva and me this email. I have been crying for an hour now. Dale has been like a father to me. I owe you so much, and I am devastated. Because of him, I want to become a better and better civil engineer. I would not be the person I am today without Dale and without you. He was a stroke of luck. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Robert Bowe would thank you for coming up, Mr. Bowe, and join us with some reflections on Dale.
Good evening. I appreciate that Virgine and her family would give me an opportunity to say just a few words and to add my thanks to the DFI for honoring Dale with the Distinguished Service Award. Harold and I are so proud to represent Bowe Brothers at this very special occasion. Dale was part of our Bowe Brothers family for almost half of our 112 years in existence. And in that time, he contributed tirelessly to our company and to our industry. He bid and managed piling projects. He went on to be vice president of our piling and marine department. And in his later years, he served as an asset for senior management and as a mentor to many of our young people who are the future of our company. He was a smart, detailed-oriented engineer whose passion for the work and practical understanding of the construction process made him a favorite resource for the project design professionals with whom he worked. Dale loved his association with DFI. In addition to the lifelong friendships he made with so many of you, I know he also received great personal satisfaction and enjoyment from working on issues of industry concern and helping to make improvements in the codes and standards that guide our work. He would often return from a meeting of a task force or a technical committee glowing with excitement to give me a report on the group's progress. As you know, sometimes progress in those arenas took years. But in Dale, you had a patient and persistent force methodically pushing to the finish line. Just as significantly, he was so proud of the relationships he made along the way with owners, academics, structural and geotechnical engineers, contractors, and suppliers. Dale Biggers, through his life's work, made the deep foundation industry better on a local and a national level. As one longtime friend of his said recently, he has always been distinguished. He is an outstanding choice to receive the 2021 Distinguished Service Award. Thank you.
I'm not going to let you carry this.
I'll be the carrier.
Yes, sir. Let's.
You're right.
I haven't given it all to
No,
you.
I know
either.
I know that.
Thank you so much.
well, that was hard to follow. Sorry. Promised myself I wouldn't get upset tonight, but it's tough. Dale was just such a wonderful man. And he really just, character is the word that stood out for me the most. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and for honoring Dale and honoring other awardees. So thank you. Thank you to the family and the company family for being here. And he's dear to my heart. So thank you all. Have a good night.